All right, today I'm going to show you quickly how to log on to Edmodo. Edmodo is a social media site used for educational purposes that allows free and private access to information that one of your teachers can put out there. In this case, it's going to be me. Anyways, first thing you're going to need to do is log on to edmodo.com, www.edmodo.com. Here's where it gets a little tricky. If you are a current Edmodo user, you will use whatever username or email that you put into it last time you were asked to create a user account and the password. If you're new to Edmodo, what you will do is you will click on the I am a student login. Now, your teacher will give you a group code that will associate your login with their classroom. In my classroom, I'll be giving yours to you shortly anyways. If you are a current user, you will not have to do this a second time, so disregard this part of the lesson. So you'll start with the group code that your teacher gives you, your username. For standardization purposes, what we'd like you to do is to use your Novell login, which is your year of graduation. I'm going to just put 18 in there, and your last name and the first initial for most of you. Okay. Once you do that, you'll go on to the password box. Once again, just for standardization purposes, use your same login user password that you would use for Novell. If you haven't done that, if you put something in, it's not that big of a deal. So you'll type in your username, password, and then your email. If your teacher wants you to, and if you're in my class, yes, I want you to put in your email. And basically your email is your username, which is the 18, the year of graduation I'm using for an example, last name, and then first initial. The @ sign, and we have a shorter email address. It's at hvs.org, not com, but .org. And then in your first and last name, we would like you to put in your first name as well as your last name. That will basically set you up with an account, and from there what you need to do is wait for the screen to change, which I'll do momentarily, and then move on. A couple of points of interest: please make sure your first name is capitalized. Please do not just put an initial in, and make sure your last name is capitalized as well. If at any time you get a message that's red here that says not available, or it's already currently being used, it means you've logged in for another classroom using that information. And if you don't know the password, you're going to have to get with the teacher you created that account for, so they can go ahead and find you your password. For those of you who currently have an Edmodo account, either assigned to you by a teacher this year or the previous year, and if you know your username or email and password, you will join a class in a different way. You will log in using your student ID, like I said, or email. In this case, I have a fictitious student by the name of Zed Zoe. So Zed graduated, will be graduating hopefully by the year 2018, last name, first initial, and then you type in your password, and then you click login. Now you can see Zed is a fine looking child. We have our current classes that we're enrolled in. Your teacher will give you that same course code, and all you need to do is click on join, and you want to join a group. So the teacher will give you a group code. You click in that group code here, click join, and then what you will notice is that you will be enrolled in another class, and that class will appear here. Now, depending on what your teacher's expectations are and what you're going to be doing with Edmodo, I know in my class that the profile, I will let the student update and go through. You can pick quotes. It's pretty self-explanatory. Most of you have been on social media sites, and you'll be able to work your way through it. One word of caution in this area: this is a social media site that is linked to your school account. Your school account is governed by, or you have signed, I should say, a user agreement. all rules of that user agreement apply. All rules according to our school code of conduct apply when you're on this social media site. So you have to think carefully about the types of pictures you put in here. Anything that you write is archived. You may delete it, but your teacher will be able to receive it through their archive. So you need to think carefully about what types of information you put on here. Your 21st century teachers have gone through net etiquette and the rules associated with social media, so you are pretty well versed in that. So no flame wars. Only use the discussion board as your teacher has deemed appropriate, and you should have a good time with this. This is a very helpful tool that'll help both you and your classroom teacher navigate the internet, put out meaningful websites, and upload documents for your class and whatnot.